Hello, and welcome back to another podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about PTSD Awareness Day. So, today's actually PTSD Awareness Day, which is the 27th of June. And I just want to talk about it a little bit more because it's not really spoken about and there's not much knowledge about PTSD. So I just want to delve into it a little bit more. So, PTSD stands for Post Traumatic Stress Disorder, and a lot of people have heard of the term, but there's still a lot of misunderstandings about what it really means. So there's like loads of stigma and stuff like that around PTSD. So let's begin. So firstly, what is PTSD? PTSD is a mental health condition that can develop after someone experiencing or witnessing a traumatic event that feels life threatening or extremely frightening, or it can even be deeply distressing. And this could be things like a serious accident, a physical or emotional abuse, violence, a natural disaster, the sudden death of someone close, or any situations where you felt helpless or in danger. For example, one of the things that come up sometimes is PTSD and vision impairment. So if you lose your vision suddenly, it can be a really traumatic experience for you as well. And people sometimes undermine that. So yeah. So not just being upset or having bad memory can is when we go through something traumatic. Our brain switches into survival mode to keep us safe. So, for most people, once the danger passes, the brain gradually resets and things start to feel normal again. But for some with PTSD, the brain gets stuck and it stays in that high alert state even when there is no longer any risk. And it's like the alarm systems in your head won't switch off. So think of neurotransmitters and the chemicals in the brain. So the neurotransmitters like all of a sudden like stop like the moment of um so it's hard to explain, but it just stop all of a sudden and like it keeps on replaying this. It's you've got to sort of like make it fall apart like the memory and like let it like reset almost. And it's really difficult to do. Um and also it's like you're almost in a like fight or flight response, but constant. So when you have like anxiety, for example, you're constantly in that anxiety state and being so aware of your surroundings and not be able to like concentrate, for example, or anything like that. Because of the fact that you're in that constant fight or flight response. So anyone can develop PTSD, and it doesn't matter your age, background, or how strong you think you are. Also, not everyone who experiences trauma will get PTSD. Our brains and bodies react in different ways, and that doesn't mean one person is better or worse than another. So what it feels like, so the main symptoms, but please remember that everyone is different as well. So symptoms usually fall into four main groups, and they can start straight after the event, or sometimes weeks, months, or even years later. So reliving the experience can be one of them, and this is more than just remembering it. It can also feel like it's happening all over again, and this can be through vivid flashbacks, upsetting dreams, or sudden intense feelings of fear or panic. Even small things, a sound or a smell or a place or a phrase, can even act as a trigger and bring those feelings and rushing back out of nowhere, and that can bring the fight or flight response on as well. Um, Another one could be avoidance. And so to try and stop these difficult feelings, people often avoid anything that reminds them of what happened. And that could be avoiding certain places, people, conversations, or even their own thoughts and feelings. And it can feel easier to shut it out, but over time, this can start to limit what you do and how you live. Also, changes in thoughts and feelings. So you might numb distant from friends and family, or you can't enjoy things that you used to love, and people feel overwhelmed, guilt, shame, or anger, or start to believe the world is completely unsafe and that no one can be trusted. It can feel like you've lost the person you used to be. And another one can be being constantly or constantly on guard, and this is called hyper. Oh, I can't remember what it's called now. Hyperarousal, I think it is. Yeah, hyperarousal. So I can't remember whether it's all in one word. So it's either hyper and then arousal, or like all in one word. So that's like HYPERAROUSAL. So you might feel like literary or easily startled, and always looking out for danger. And you can find it really hard to relax. Sleep can also be difficult. Concentration gets harder, and you might feel irritable or snap at people more than usual. And also, so I'm going to talk about a little bit about the myths as well about PTSD. So, basically, one of the negative myths that aren't true is PTSD only affects soldiers and people in the military. But the reality is it can affect anyone: children, teenagers, adults, survivors of abuse, accidents, or loss. And trauma comes in many forms as well. And if someone experiences similar trauma, it doesn't mean that they're going to have the same symptoms as somebody else, for example, too. Another myth is that you have PTSD if you are weak or can't cope. But the reality is that PTSD is not a sign of weakness, and it's a sign that you have survived something difficult and your brain's struggling to process it. It means that you have been through a lot of things that you aren't things, but it doesn't mean that you're not strong. And if anything, it means that you are strong too. And I'm losing my voice here in a minute. I'm gonna have a drink. I'm gonna stop recording. Okay, so the things that this person living with PTSD, if you were struggling yourself. So here are some things that can help. So listen without judging is one of them. Also, don't tell them to just get over it or move on. And that can only make things worse. Be patient as well. So healing takes time and it's not a straight line, and there will be a good days and also bad days too. And also encourage them to seek support, and you don't have to go through it alone. And in the UK, help is available through your GP, university wellbeing services, or trusted charities like the Mind Charity, Rethink Mental Illness, and Combat Stress. There's also the Samaritans that you can phone as well. So that's just a quick one from me. So just please remember about PTSD Awareness Day today. And yeah. So thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoy this podcast. And if you've got any questions, please leave them down in the comment section, or you can head over to my announcement video as well that I'm going to be putting up. Just leave it in the comment section of there, or head over to my Instagram DMs if you want it more private, or email me at helpvision216@gmail.com if you also want it more private too. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you all later for the next one where I'll be talking about July awareness. See you all later. Bye.